Hello. How many of you have heard of Charity Water? Most of us have. Yeah, it's this incredible organization that was founded by Scott Harrison. And Scott Harrison, it's been about 10 years ago now, was a New York City nightclub promoter, right? He complete with the Rolex watch, the BMW, and the supermodel girlfriend. And he was really paid. He made his money out of looking good and drinking certain brands of alcohol and encouraging other people to do the same. And it was a great life, but it was a hard life. And he talks about eventually, after many years of this lifestyle, hitting rock bottom. He says he was morally, emotionally, and spiritually bankrupt. And so he went inward and he determined that he was going to change his life. He was going to dedicate 1 year to doing nothing but service. So he went about trying to find an organization in which he could give a year of service. He went to many, and none of them wanted him, right? Like, you have these skills and you want to know you're not a good fit. He finally found an organization called Mercy Ship that was willing to let him pay them $500 a year, or $500 a month for a year to volunteer with them. And what they did was they would go to third world countries and they would perform surgeries on individuals who had facial abnormalities, whether it was cleft palate or perhaps some kind of a tumor. These were life-changing surgeries that they were providing. And it was really confronting for him as he went overseas and did this work with them. But he did the work. He talks about learning eventually in time that most of these facial abnormalities and these challenges were the cause of people drinking unclean water and bathing and cooking with unclean water. And that inspired him to go back home and create an organization called Charity Water. Now, most of you raised your hands, so you know that Charity Water is largely funded by people pledging their birthdays. There was a young woman named Rachel Beckwith who pledged her 9th birthday to Charity Water, and she set a goal of raising $300. Now, she fell a little short of her goal. As fundraisers, you can appreciate that does happen sometimes. She raised $220, and she told her mom that she was going to try again harder next year. Many of us were heartbroken when we learned that Rachel and her mom were in a tragic car accident on I-90 in Seattle, Washington, in the US, a few weeks after her birthday. And Rachel's spinal cord was severed, and eventually she was taken off life support. Word of Rachel's death spread across the US and across Canada and eventually around the world. And people were inspired by this little girl being willing to donate her birthday so that other children and families could have clean drinking water all around the world. And they began donating. And you know how this part of the story ends. I mean, more than $1.2 million was raised to help Rachel's birthday wish come true in a even bigger way than she ever imagined possible. And as amazing and inspiring as that story is, there's still more. 1 year later, Rachel's mother and her grandparents went to Africa to see and experience the dedication of Rachel's well. And you can see through bittersweet tears her mother's emotion as that water came out of that well for the very first time. And in fact, Rachel's work, that $1.2 million worth of well digging in the continent of Africa, provided water for more than 37,000 people across 142 different villages. But that's not the best part. On August 27th of 2011, one of my best friends, Lori Jacobwith, who lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota, turned 50 years old. And she pledged her birthday to Charity Water as well. And she invited me, along with many other people who care about her, to pledge $50 in honor of her 50th birthday. And so because I love Lori twice as much as anyone else, I pledged $100. And 18 months later, I received this email. And in this email, it included photographs, and it included video of the well that I, along with 252 other people and 5 other birthday people, helped support. The well that we made possible as a group, just by our friends donating their birthday and us joining in that work. And to me, this is the best part. I mean, the Rachel story is completely inspiring. And the fact that Scott Harrison made this organization and had his aha moment and has changed the lives of thousands and thousands and perhaps millions of people across the continent, providing them clean water, is brilliant. But the lesson that I wish I would have thought of, that we all can take advantage of now as people, as fundraisers working in this sector, is that virtually what they have done is created a scalable model for stewardship. You see now, because of the use of email and video and photographs, what was once reserved just for $1 million donors, having that kind of stewardship where we could see the work, see what difference our dollars made live in person, if you will, via photographs and video, we now can provide that same kind of meaningful stewardship to $100 donors and $50 donors and $10 donors, thereby creating a system, a replicable system for stewardship and solving that age-old problem of many donors, little time. And that I wish I would have thought of. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. I don't know about you, but it's easy to imagine how writing on bits of toilet paper could progress to video from the field.